I love this show. Season 2 was even better. Though I didn't like that they shoved Venom down our throats. Venom will always be a pretty decent villain. But I never liked him in this show, even when I was little. I've probably been saying that a lot in a lot of my recent videos, but his voice just was not intimidating to me, threatening or anything. People usually say that about Topher Grace's Venom from Spider-Man 3, but I thought he did fine. He seemed like a decently intimidating Venom. Obviously, there's better ones, but he was believable. This guy is not. So him being, a big threat to Spidey was never believable to me. There's literally a whole episode that I completely forgot. I remembered a part from it, and I didn't even remember it was in that specific episode. There's a whole episode where he reveals Spider-Man's identity. Eventually, he gets cleared up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not Peter Parker. I'm just some random dude, kind of tricks him, whatever." And that's it. It was not a big deal at all. It's a very forgettable episode. I remembered that Flash pretended to be Spider-Man, and I didn't even remember it was from that episode. Then we also got this episode that is honestly my favorite episode. It starts off trying to make you think Spider-Man is put in prison. It's like Spider-Man's in jail, and John Jameson is obviously happy about it. And Gwen Stacy's dad is like, "You don't have to be so happy." Then 2 seconds in after the intro, they're like, "Yep, he's not actually in prison." Of course, this season we get Mysterio. He was really cool. Um, Craven the Hunter was decent. Then they turned him into an animal. And that's when he introduced himself as Craven the Hunter. He uses an experimental thing or whatever and to have superpowers to match Spidey because he thinks he lost unfairly because Spidey has powers and that's the only reason he lost. So he finds the dude that, supposedly created Spidey. Obviously he didn't, but he goes along with it. And he gets his formula or whatever, and he turns into this werewolf, weird looking thing. I didn't even like that when I was a kid either. It was dumb. And this is when he finally introduces himself as Craven the Hunter. He's just been calling himself Craven off before that. He's in one more episode, and he's referenced in a later episode. I didn't even catch that until my rewatch, where Doc Ock wants backup while he's fighting, Tombstone and Silvermane. And he tries to use his communicator to call in Craven. But Craven doesn't answer and he throws the thing on the ground. But I don't think this show even liked what they did with Craven. I think they realized it was stupid. But they still wanted to, pretend he existed in this show at least. I love Shocker and Rhino and Sandman. They're all pretty good. I don't think I complimented them enough in, my previous review for season 1. Of course, we also have the most iconic episode 25, where we finally find out that Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin. I know, predictable, but I actually watched the episode and it's really good. Just watch it. I know them trying to fool you into thinking Norman Osborn isn't the Green Goblin is stupid, but it was actually a really good episode. Then we revealed that Chameleon was pretending to, be Green Goblin when Norman Osborn was around. Spider-Man and Green Goblin appeared at the same time. I honestly think that reveal would have been better if he didn't appear in season 1. He only had one episode and then he fucked off. So it definitely would have been amazing if it was just a reveal and this season, but then again, since the show got canceled, less Chameleon would have sucked. And then, of course, we find out at the end he's still alive. He dyed his hair and he has this weird mustache. A lizard has to move because the one dude that's been doing experiments, is like, hey, I know you're the lizard. Then, of course, we have the most anticlimactic final. I think they should have ended it at episode 25, because that was an amazing episode where we kind of go back in the past. Get some more background on, random things. But at the same time, it messes up its own thing. Like, Harry Osborn gets invited to Flash's party. Yet in an earlier episode, once Harry's back from Europe, he doesn't really interact with Flash until a random episode where they're forced to be in a police car together because crime or whatever is bad and they want to show them something or something. It was weird. But yeah, they pick a thing out of a hat. They get their partner and Flash gets Harry. Find out he doesn't like him because, he kind of bailed on them. Went to Europe when they were getting to near finals in the football, and Hobie Brown had to do it for him. Had to pick up the pace and the slack. And so he doesn't like Harry anymore. Why did he invite him to his birthday party? We get a reason why Peter was invited. It was because they were best friends during their childhood. They never say anything about Harry being friends with him during his childhood and his mom assuming they're still friends or something. Just Peter. So I don't get why Harry was there. It's not like he added anything to the plot. They didn't have to take him to that birthday party. So they just made a dumb plot error for no reason. And, this episode brings back fucking Venom again as the finale. Which we never got a season 3, so that never happened. I would sound more disappointed, but I don't, because I didn't care for Venom in this show at all. Venom and Kraven were the weakest characters in this show, not actually strength-wise, just didn't care for them at all. Even the characters that didn't exactly act like their characters were really entertaining. But Kraven and fucking Venom were not entertaining. They just sucked. But yeah, the show ends with Venom, he keeps tricking Spidey, popping up and then disappearing, and he gets him paranoid, so he goes to check that the symbiote's still in its hiding spot where he put it under cement earlier or whatever. And Venom brings a sledgehammer and he's getting his suit back. Cool. Not really. Because their plan wouldn't have worked if, other things weren't happening. That was the whole reason he kept escaping. Except for one where he just ran away really fast. But all the other times, like, oh shit, Sandman's robbing a bank. Then he turns back to see where Eddie is and Eddie's gone. I really don't get how he expected that plan to work. He just got really lucky. But yeah, that's about it.